everyone, this is Joe Workman, and today we're going to go over the awesome new Foundation version 1.1 update that was released. Now we're not going to go over every single individual feature, but we're going to go over the major points of some of the great things that were added. So let's get started. Site styles got a lot of really great new features, and one of these features is how covered images are handled. You'll notice when you look at the cover image settings within site styles, there's a few new options. We can now provide a cover overlay, as well as an opacity for that overlay, and then add a fade in animation for the full scale covered background. Let's see what this overlay does. So as we notice here, we have a nice grainy texture on top of our image, and if you noticed on page load, it actually faded in as the image was loaded onto the page. It gives a really great, nice effect. Now there are a lot of overlays that are actually shipped with Foundation now. So how do we choose those? If you look inside the Stacks media library, you'll notice that there is a new group called Foundation Background Overlays. And there are 15 available overlays for you that you can use here. Let's go ahead and change one so you can see a different effect. So just take that image, drag it into the cover overlay setting, and let's go ahead and preview our page again. If you notice here, we have a different kind of overlay on top of the image. The overlays really allow you to add some abstraction on top of your image. Sometimes images can be a little bit distracting, so this overlay really gives them a nice texture and kind of washes them out or, blends them in a little bit more. Great options. Now these new cover image settings are available for the cover image type as well as the cover image warehouse type. Now if you notice, we actually have a new option available as well, and this is called Slideshow. And Slideshow allows you to do full-scale background slideshows for your entire website. Now it only supports warehoused images, and you can add up to 5 different images that will be cycled through for your website background. And you also have that great overlay effect that we had for cover images. So let's go ahead and preview this. As we notice, my background of my site faded in nicely. I have my overlay, and we have a nice slideshow fading animation in between each image. Now when you go into the Foundation text section inside Site Styles, you'll notice a new setting for Icon Set. Now previously, Font Awesome was loaded inside the Foundation theme. That has now been moved into Site Styles so that we can provide a little bit more flexibility. If you don't want to load any icons at all, go ahead and select None, and 0 icon fonts will be loaded on your web page. This will make load times a little bit faster. Now for Font Awesome, we've upgraded to Font Awesome 4.1, where they added over 70 new icons. Now we also have 2 different options. We have the default hosted option, which is like we had before, where all of the Font Awesome libraries are hosted externally on a CDN for speed. However, we also have the option to load Font Awesome locally. So that all of the Font Awesome files are published locally to your web server, and all of the files will be published from your server. Lastly, we have a new icon font set, and this is the Foundation icon set. Now, just like Font Awesome, there are tons of different icons available to you. So as you see here, there are a lot of very similar icons to Font Awesome, but maybe the style pertains a little bit more to your website. And they're just as simple to add as Font Awesome is. Simply add the following code snippet to your website, where the icon here is substitute for the icon name, and that icon will be inserted directly into your web page. Now there's one last new setting inside Site Styles, and at the very, very bottom we have a checkbox for custom CSS styles. Now when you check this, it will open up a new text area inside Site Styles. In here you can type any of your custom CSS styles that you would like, and those styles will be applied to the page. Now if you're using the Site Styles global template, all of these styles will be synced across all of your pages. How cool is that? Now let's move on to top bar. Some of the most requested features that I received is to actually center the menu items. So obviously, I added that. So to do this, I recommend we actually hide the title area because it kind of doesn't make sense to have that any longer if we're going to set the alignment to be centered. So now our menu can be centered, and we can, if we want, we could remove the dividers. And another requested feature that users wanted was to remove the submenu indicator. So you can go ahead and uncheck that, and any submenus will not have any indicators. However, if you hover over the menu item, it will still be there. Now the rest of our options for top bar allow us to actually hide the slogan on mobile. So if you want to display the site slogan or some other text in your title area, you can actually hide that now for mobile devices. This is so that if the text is too long on mobile devices, you can actually hide that. Now other things, if you go into content custom data, you now have full control over the icon. And you can provide different icons for mobile, tablet, and desktop. Now let's move on to forms and see some of the great new features added to our forms. So if we go into form base, we'll notice that there is a new setting to redirect on success. And what this is once your form is successfully submitted, you can actually redirect the user to a new web page. Now this next feature is a little bit more subtle, but very powerful. Now you may have known if you look at the subject field that we can actually use templates, and we can actually use the field IDs or field names inside of our content. So in this particular subject, we'd have message from, and then the name field from within the form. You can also now use these IDs inside the to address and to fields. How is this powerful? Well, if your user adds an email address to one of the fields, instead of manually typing in a to address, what you could do is you can do parenthesis email or curly brace email, and then inside the name you could inside curly braces you could put name. Now these IDs, email and name, need to match up with the actual field name that is inside that field. So whatever the user puts in the name field will be resolved inside the name template. And if we look at this second field, I have the field name as email, right? So in this example here, an email that we define will get sent to this user of the email address that they input as well as the name that they input. Now you can also use a second recipient, and this supports the templating as well, or you can insert your own email address. And just in case you forget, I've added a footnote into the settings to remind you that this is possible. Now onto the Accordion. For some reason when I launched Foundation, Accordion had hard-coded the background was white. And I thought it would be a lot nicer if we actually set the background of Accordion to be transparent so that it's the same background of your website. However, if you still like that same ability where you can actually customize the background color of Accordion, that's really easy to do. Simply go to the background color of Accordion and then change it to be whatever color you'd like. And that will make the background of each panel area inside Accordion to be whatever color that you defined. Now the last big change within this Foundation release was with Pillar. And before Pillar, the Pillar was actually hard-coded to be positioned on the left. However, now you can easily, with the setting, change that to be positioned on the right. And that does it for the Foundation 1.1 release. I hope you really enjoy it. We're working really hard to make this really the best way to design websites with RapidWeaver. As always, make sure you check out our Foundation user manual online. It's jam-packed full of tons of great FAQs and videos for you to learn from. And lastly, I want to put a small plug in for a new Google Plus community that we've created for RapidWeaver. Previously, we're using Glassboard, and we decided to migrate over to Google Plus, and it's been a really great, rich experience working with a lot of great customers. So I look forward to seeing you on the communities. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy this update, and have a great day. Go forth and make your websites great. Bye-bye.